Let's discuss the chess news. I wanted to speak about something that happened just yesterday. As of the time of the recording, it will several days will have passed by the upload, but I don't think that something will change significantly. So there has been a cheating scandal, a new cheating scandal in chess over the board, which is probably one of the largest cheating scandals ever, considering the rating of the person involved. What are your emotions towards this? Can you please tell me what you think?
Yeah, considering the ratings and considering the atmosphere, it's just what we needed right now is an OTB cheating scandal to go full circle. Because some of the first ever cheating scandals, before online chess was a thing since the late 90s. But obviously, online chess wasn't the main arena. And so the first cheating scandal that I remember was the 2006 World Open cheating scandal in Philadelphia. And I won't get into it right now, but basically this 2200 no name beat a bunch of GMs using, I think, an early version of Bluetooth. Yeah, 2006. That's 1 year before the first iPhone came out. So that is what used to be on people's radar. And it seems everybody's forgotten that there is something called over-the-board chess. And that is the arena which people were mainly concerned about. I feel like I've been living in the Matrix the last few days, Greg. Some crazy coincidences have been happening to me. And I happened to be on chess.com right before going to sleep when this article came out. This was early in the morning. So I caught it, 10 minutes after it was published. And I decided to go to sleep anyway, not to stay up for the inevitable explosion on Reddit and Twitter by all the luminaries, the chess luminaries, publicly acknowledged and also self-pronounced. But yeah, once I woke up on the other end, on the other side, I should say, I kind of read the public reaction. I was completely shocked. This whole situation makes absolutely zero sense. But I want to let you kind of direct, because I'm sure, I saw you recorded a video on it, so I don't want to repeat what research you've already done, I'm sure. But it is shocking and horrifying.
Yes, I agree about the shocking part. And I did not do any deep research. I didn't have much time. The video was just my fresh impressions. I'll link it below for everyone interested. I wanted to ask you whether you think that indeed OTB cheating is more widespread than we thought. Because as you know, I've spoken to many prominent players, yourself included, on and off the podcast, and some of them are more let's say paranoid, not necessarily in a bad word, in a bad sense. Others say that over the board, probably it's practically non-existent. So where do you put yourself in this spectrum?
Well, formerly I put myself kind of squarely in the paranoid camp. And by formerly, I mean, 7-8 years ago, which is basically probably should be labeled BCE, before Common Era. This is the dark ages of chess at 2016, 2017. But what I really want to start with is telling kind of newer chess fans that concerns over OTB cheating, as I implied in my earlier soliloquy, are not new. And I remember distinctly in 2011, I played in a tournament in the Netherlands in Groningen. And I was an IM at the time, and I played a 2000 rated kid who was doing really well in the tournament. And I was already concerned before the game, having looked at his previous games at the tournament. And during the game, it was the classic, right? He was getting up every single move. He was making a move getting up. And he was going out of the small playing hall, presumably to the bathroom. So I had that it's like this indescribable lump in your throat when you feel like somebody might be doing something against you. It's a horrible feeling. I want to get back to this later in the podcast, but you cannot play properly if you think your opponent is cheating. If you even have the inkling of suspicion, that's all that you can think about. It's like when you're, I don't know, when you're a kid and your tooth falls out and or you're 90 years old and your tooth falls out, your tongue searches for that place. It's like you cannot redirect your attention back to the game. And he actually rattled off a bunch of theory. He actually played an amazing game. The game ended in a draw, but I ended up making a move quickly and following him to the bathroom at some point, which I'm not proud of. And I don't think that he was cheating. He's a talented kid. He later became an IM. We played again 2 years later. And I won that game. But I think that this paranoia is kind of inherent in a chess player when he becomes, I don't know why the cynicism always tends to set in the stronger you become. Maybe it's tied into ego. But the moral of the story is that this has been on my radar for a very long time. 2011, 2012, there were already kind of paranoid people, and this was already a concern that was being discussed. I think that some chess fans might believe that this is a new thing, that suddenly this has come to the foreground. But those who have inhabited the chess sphere for longer know that it's just that this has now gained more publicity with, what's been going on with Kramnik and the explosion of online chess and chess in general. But I'm kind of going in circles. To answer your question, which was, what my thoughts are in general, where I put myself, previously in the paranoid camp, but I think the sort of Overton window of discussing chess cheating has shifted much more to the paranoid direction. And so I was where I was previously, which is in the, I don't know what the extent of cheating is. I don't understand how you could know. I don't know how anybody could claim with certainty. The people say, 50% of Title Tuesday players are cheating. Oh, but 23%. No, I know. How can you know? What are the grounds on which you're basing these confident numbers? I think the only reasonable statement is, I don't know. And but clearly the problem is pretty widespread. As for OTB cheating, what I'm most curious about, Greg, is what are the methods? Because what shocks me about the Shevchenko incident is it's almost like it was out of a cartoon or the Onion.
Yeah.
If this was an Onion headline, top chess grandmaster found cheating again with a phone taped to the underside of his toilet, and the cleaner found the phone and another phone was brought in and taped the same way. What the heck? Is this for real? This almost makes me believe that, I would not believe that this is a real story, that a GM who wanted to cheat, shame on that person, major shame on that person, would decide to cheat in literally the method that has existed since the actual Dark Ages and the easiest one to detect. Because any GM will get suspicious already from the opening when his opponent is getting up and leaving for 10 minutes, 5 times a game. Like Dr. Bassem, first thing you think is, oh my gosh, does he have stomach problems? Does he need help? And if you do, then you should resign the game or tell your opponent or offer a draw or whatever. But, once you realize your opponent isn't acting like they've got stomach problems, then I'm suspicious as heck. And I've been in those shoes. So I guess to conclude, the fact that nobody knows what the extent of the problem is really scary. It is definitely a serious issue. And unfortunately, we have seen that GMs who are supposed to carry the banner of, fairness in chess, unfortunately, many of them are all too willing to forfeit those lofty ambitions of being an ambassador for justice and fairness above all else, and to cheat. And that's awful. At the same time, I myself am currently on the receiving end of, several lines of attack by a certain individual. So I think it's extremely important to hold ourselves to innocent until proven guilty standards, and to be acting in good faith, and to understand that the chess atmosphere is shifting in terms of who is allowed to be good at chess and how people improve and announce themselves on the chess scene. So we need to factor all of that in, the fact that the chess world is changing. But there is no question that, FIDE needs to put together their heads with chess.com. Measures have to be taken. There's no question that the problem exists and is probably growing. As for the extent of it, I don't think that we have enough facts to know.